r/Nice Guy Stories by Redmond Detes. Hopefully my last nice guy ever. I never learn. But as I approach 30, and I get grey hair and age, maybe I will finally be able to live in peace. This story happened last year. Nice Guy is very much a gentle sir. He had an immaculate beard, and liked to dress in 18th century attire. We will call him Count Gentle Sir, because making cloths suited for bark and being Jewish was his entire personality. Nothing against Jewish people, but anytime someone makes their religion one of the main focus of their personality, any religion, it's super annoying and cringe. He was a friend of a friend who met him in a fabric store. My friend was buying fabric for a quilting project, and he was remaking Lester's wardrobe. She wanted to go on a date with him but felt nervous, so I third wheeled. She made it not seem like a big deal since she is poly and he should get used to that or something. Anyway, we all ended up in a group message together and I didn't find him too odd at first. She thought we'd get along because we were both goth. I don't really see myself as a goth. Alternative, yes, very. While I do wear mostly black, I also like tie-dye and pastels. I also like old world peasant cloths, like cottagecore. He was very goth. My first red flag was when he took my hand and bowed over it and called me "ma lady." I let it pass since he looked like he was auditioning for Hamilton. Then he began to DM me. You know the song and dance. Needy, clingy, text messages. The good morning beautiful, and good afternoon beautiful, and good evening beautiful, and when you ignore it, hey you there? I don't understand. You can tell a guy you don't like the morning, afternoon and evening texts like this. You can tell him it's strange because he is dating your friend. Anyway, we did talk about religion often. 2 years ago I fell down a Kabbalah rabbit hole and branched off into the major and lesser keys of Solomon. I knew more about it than he did because I hyper-focused on it. But I learned early on that he leaned conservative and didn't think women had the rights to her own body when it came to reproduction. I expressed to my friend that he gave me bad vibes and I think he was just after a fertile female to have babies with. She said I was overreacting. He nearly succeeded in converting her. She already has 3 kids. At the time I was debating becoming full pagan and worshipping the horned god, still under consideration, and I told him such and he patted my leg and said, "Give it time. I will change your mind." It was around this time he began to get really inappropriate with me. Count Nice Guy walked with a silver-handled cane, and constantly liked to wedge this between my legs, sometimes while I was walking. I once yanked it from him and told him if he did it again I was going to beat him with it. He told me something along the lines of "give it back to daddy." I gave it to my friend and told her to take it from me before I really do beat him with it. He left it in her car. I told her to throw it into the river. She didn't. Count Nice Guy, as it turned out, was into DDLG, and liked to tell me how I brought out the daddy dom in him. He said I would make such a good brat who needed blank. I'm not finishing that sentence. I'm not bratty, I'm catty. I do what I want and you just gotta roll with it. Don't tell me what to do. We were sitting around one day and showing off our Instagrams and he came across a picture of me from when I had a bob cut. At the time my hair was past my waist, and I was considering cutting it, but wasn't sure if I was going short again or if I was just going to my mid-back. I had some dead ends, okay. He took me by my chin and turned my face to him and said no. No. I cut my hair to my shoulders that week. Don't tell me what to do. A few months pass and I wasn't really talking to him anymore. My friend texted me and told me he was in the hospital and she had been visiting him and he wasn't doing too good. He was refusing certain life-saving medical care and they'd gotten into an argument. I went to visit him because I honestly thought he was going to die. He had finally been convinced to take the treatment offered to him, and at that time was recovering but was losing weight because the hospital food was bad and didn't offer much kosher variety. By this point my friend was done visiting him and didn't want to even talk to him anymore, and feeling sorry for him, I started to bring him food and other things he needed while he was in the hospital and rehab. After the first visit, he went right back to his more unseemly behavior. He talked about his lost LGs and how he'd punish them for being annoying. I got my revenge by installing a small Christmas tree in his hospital room. In my defense, the garland I found for it had 6 pointed stars, lol. I also bought him cloths. When he had gone into the hospital, he had been taken to the ER, and they had cut his cloths. This guy only owned one pair of jeans. All his other pants were the tight-fitting pantaloons of fops long past. Imagine tight capris. I bought him some drawstring sweatpants. He was a fairly tall guy, and while he had lost weight, he would likely gain in rehab, so I brought some that were a few sizes big. He was upset by this. I told him there was a drawstring, and it was better than no pants. Grow up. He also said that the t-shirts I got him were not to his liking. One said positive vibes and the other had a gingerbread man on it. I saw the side of him that my friend saw in their argument. It wasn't directed at me, but the tray runner who had brought him lunch one day. He glared at him with such a dark look that I feared for this man's lift. Count Nice Guy couldn't get up out of his hospital bed, but he looked so hateful that I felt it, even while it wasn't directed at me. I didn't talk to him after Thanksgiving. He was almost done with rehab. I was exhausted and emotionally drained like my friend who'd taken care of him first. I blocked his phone number but forgot to block him on Instagram. He DM'd me and I have left it and read. Even if he looks the part, do not trust a gentle sir. If anyone uses the phrase my lady, run. Run. I don't care if he is a real vampire. It's 2022. Even a vampire from the 1700s should know better by now. That's all folks. Thank you for watching. Have a nice evening.